call this meeting of Harriman City Council order September the 6th, 2022. Before we get started, we'll have a prayer by our city manager, Mr. Scott Mason, followed by the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Mr. Mason.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful day and for the blessings that you bestow upon us, for allowing us to be here tonight. But Lord, just to remind us always of how much you truly bless us. We'd ask that you be with us and the city council as we make decisions that are not only right, but right in your sight. We'd ask that you lead us, guide us, and protect us in all that we do. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett.
Here.
Brian Frost.
Here.
Alicia Harris.
Here.
Tim Johnson.
Here.
Travis Kirkland. Kenyon Me.
Here. I'd like to declare a quorum. Motion to approve the minutes of the August 16th, 2022 meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Frost. Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussions, corrections, amendments. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett.
No.
Johnny Brackett.
I have.
To approve it.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Brian
Yes, sir.
Frost.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenyon Me.
Yes.
Motion approved. Motion to pay the salaries.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Frost, second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Johnson. Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett.
Here.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenyon Me.
Yes.
Motion carries. Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Harris. Second by Councilman Meade. Sorry. Councilman Harris.
No. No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett.
Here.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenyon Me.
Yes.
Motion carries. This time we'll hear from delegation. If you'd like to address this council, please come up to the podium, state your name, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. My name is Jim Neely. I'm here tonight on behalf of the 3 HHS student athletes seated in the audience behind me tonight. Amy Arney, Peyton Bruglio, and Ryan Ward attended Universal Cheer Association's cheer camp with their teammates in July, where they were selected as All-American. Only 12% of participants from the camp received such honors. This selection allows them the opportunity to cheer in the 81st Annual Pearl Harbor Day Parade. This is in Honolulu, and they are here tonight in hopes that City Council would help consider assisting them in their fundraising by means of donation. They have several fundraising raffles that are being currently held. A spaghetti supper fundraiser for HHS homecoming, which will be pregame at HMS cafeteria. They have tickets for all those, and like I said, several different raffles going on currently. I don't know if this is normally something that City Council would consider, but their cost per student is $3,150 per student. They go to represent the school, but it's not a school-backed function, so there is no funding from the school itself. Thank you. I'm open for questions if you have any right offhand.
When do they go?
That is
December the 1st. Third.
December the 3rd.
Through the 9th.
And all the funds have been paid for on November 1st.
Does the 3150 include room and board and everything?
It does, yes ma'am. It includes their flight and their lodging.
Not food or anything like that.
Right.
So you're asking council basically for a donation? to
Yes,
try
sir.
to
Any
help?
donation would be helpful. They are, like I said, actively fundraising right now. They have done a couple of bake sales, things like that, just trying to rally the money together for the students so it's not such a hardship.
Would council like to look at this and maybe come up with if you decide you want to do it, maybe come up with a number and bring it back? How quick do you need it?
Mr. Mayor, it's due by October the
21st, everything has to be paid.
Okay. So if we did something, maybe, what are we in right now?
September.
First meeting in September. If we done something in 2 weeks, would that be okay?
Oh, absolutely.
That gives them time to think about an amount that you want to give. Unless you guys are ready, it's your council chamber. If you guys are ready to do something, that's up to you all. What's your all's will?
I say we can sit and discuss it, talk about it, come up with a number.
Okay.
Thank you very
So we'll
much.
address it in the next meeting. All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for participating. Anyone else like to address council?
I'm Bruce Knobloch, president of our Hornslow Heights Historical Community Organization. And I know I expect that the city manager will be discussing the Hooray for Harriman Festival in a little bit. But I wanted to thank you that under the very difficult circumstances of not knowing what the weather was, that we did try to have it continue, though it essentially did get rained out at the last minute. What I did want to do, though, is to take this as an opportunity to explain to the council as to what Hooray for Harriman, the festival, is. Because it dates back to 1990, which was the centennial for City of Harriman. That was when the historic districts were designated, and Harriman became what was called a Main Street city. And the Main Street program was called Hooray for Harriman, which was to promote the downtown businesses in developing through their historic buildings. Jess Rittenhouse, who was here, was very active back then in 1990. That was also when we became personally involved. What's happened over the years, though, is that we no longer are a Main Street program within the City of Harriman. We are still a certified local government, which I brought to the council before on other occasions. It's important that we maintain our historical values for our downtown area. But what that means now is that you understand why we do what we do. Why we do the Hooray for Harriman Festival is to promote the downtown businesses. What happened yesterday, and again, it was a last-minute call in terms of canceling it, but unfortunately, we did not have the city presence as what I would expect and hope from supporting our own merchants. There was some confusion with, I know, some of our merchants as to whether or not they should even remain open. It would have been great if those, even if you were not able to hold the Main Street, the street festival part, that you at least go visit the merchants, thank them for what they do, and make sure that you're supporting your local businesses, because that's what the Hooray for Harriman is all about. And I just wanted to give you that history so that you understand going forward. It's not a street festival equivalent to a 4th of July celebration in Kingston. It's not going to be like the Rockin' on the Ramp, which is what Rockwood's doing now. This is supporting your merchants in downtown Harriman, and that needs to stay as a Hooray for Harriman merchants activity. Thank you.
Anybody else like to address council?
Yes. My name is Greg Buckles. Congratulations to all you all who won election here. And it's been a couple of years, maybe about 4 years since I approached you all about an issue in town. There's a couple of elderly ladies that I live on one of the streets in town. I brought it to your attention that the sidewalks had the old brick pavers there. And I offered to assist with that as far as forming it up and partner with DRAC on that. I just wanted to mention that again, that I'd like to revisit that because kind of the ball had gotten dropped over the last few years, waiting until the weather got better or whatever. But nevertheless, it's been a couple of years now since that's happened. Of course, the young ladies are just getting older, and I just want to do my part to help fix that sidewalk on Clifty Street. It's in a 2-3 block, 3 houses or so right on that corner. And I'm no longer working with the kids at Rome Academy because I was going to let them provide the labor to help get the bricks up or whatever. But I like to assist with getting that project done. I knew a couple other concrete finishers that can help me. Except that you all are going to provide concrete, we're going to do labor to pour that sidewalk. So I just want to mention that to you. That let's try to put that back on the front burner. We can get that taken care of for these elderly ladies that could use that assistance. Thank you.
We have been, me and the city manager have been talking about sidewalks and trying to start a program to start at one end of Harriman and try to work our way through. What we keep running into, or what we've always run into, is who owns the sidewalks. Does the city own it or does the people own it? Usually we don't pay for the concrete and stuff. We just we do the putting down or taking the brick up. Mm-hmm. So we'll work on trying to figure out who's got what, because we've got a lot of sidewalks that need repairing, throughout Harriman. So we'll revisit that and see where we're at. But the biggest question is who owns the sidewalks, and I think we've always had that question. But we'll try to get something in stone and get with you on that. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else like to address council? If not, we'll go into reports. Harriman Utility Board.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to the new council people. I'm Candace Bates. I'm the general manager of Harriman Utility Board. I usually just come and update on some of the highlights of the month that may be of concern to the city. The first thing I'll mention is the Bitcoin facility. It's a Bitcoin mining operation. It is under construction right now. We do hope to see them officially in business in the next few weeks. But if you drive down to where the old steel mill is, it's right there at the intersection of South Rome Street and that entrance road to the steel mill where the recycling center and things are back there. They poured concrete. They've got the first 2 buildings set. It does, like I told y'all a few months ago, it just kind of sets down in a hole. You don't really notice it unless you're looking for it. So just let y'all know that that's going on. That's a big revenue stream for our electric department. We're excited to have that new customer. Another thing that's happening is you'll see on the market, advertised pretty soon, we are going to market our property out on Harriman Highway, out by the TCAT school, sort of. We own about 38 acres as a utility. We've owned it for about 20 years. We're going to market that for sale and hope to promote residential development. So we're talking to some interested parties, and I'll definitely keep the council informed on what's going on there. The next thing I'd say is we are working on our Arfa application for the water and sewer projects. We're working with the city's funding administrator, Evan Sanders, to get that application hopefully submitted this month. Joshua Gillespie, who's our grant administrator at the utility board, has been working with Kita and the city manager to try to get our SAMS registration up and going. It looks like we'll be able to submit the application. We won't officially be in contract to spend that money until that registration's up to date. But I think we're making progress toward that, doing the best that we can. And then lastly, I'll say the ARC, that's the Appalachian Regional Commission grant that we were able to get for the sewer extension along Pine Ridge Road. We finally got the official okay, and we're under contract with the federal government now to accept that money. So we'll be getting that designed and hopefully constructed in the next year or two. Questions for the utility?
Any questions? Ms. Candace? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Rowley?
Thank you, Mayor, and welcome new council members. I look forward to working with you throughout the remainders of your all's terms and hopefully into the future. So I have in front of you the executive summary. This is something that I give to all council members on the first meeting of the month. You can look down through there at the numbers and I'll explain some of them to you as I go through the ones that are more noteworthy. Under point number 4, it is notable that we had a almost 10% increase in local option sales tax receipts for the same period last year. That's a substantial increase. If that, for example, were to continue, that would be about a $300,000 increase annually in sales tax receipts. So let's certainly hope that that continues, given the fact that we are in a recessionary environment. That's extremely encouraging. Down at the bottom, I have included some things in the narrative here, and on the back 2 pages of the report I have for you all. There gives a little bit more detail regarding the balance sheet information for the city. So please feel free to take a look at that as you like. But something that's noteworthy is that, generally speaking, I think that the East Tennessee region and Tennessee as a whole is somewhat insulated from what's happening nationally. Whenever you see bad news nationally, that doesn't mean that it's going to affect our region in lockstep with the rest of the country. We have large quantities of people moving here from other states, and that's helping drive our economic growth. And I don't see any reason for that to not continue. My main focus in my role as the CFO for the city is really, other than just pure financial management for the city, it's actually a focus also on our revenues, where they come from, and what we need to do as what I should say you all need to do or consider as a legislative body to drive that growth forward, which is to say, what are the investments that can be made by the city to continue to drive this. When Pinnacle Point was created decades ago, it was a huge risk, but those people in office at that time had a vision to grow revenues and for the Midtown area to become a center for economic activity in Harriman, and they have achieved that tremendously. If you look at the breakdown of where we receive the majority of our local option sales tax dollars, it is from the Pinnacle Point development. So I would encourage you all, and I look forward to working with you to consider other investment opportunities over the next few months and years while you're in office. We do have some opportunities here in Harriman to grow revenue, to grow population, and I would encourage you all to be open to those discussions. I can take any questions you might have.
You might have anything for Mr. Rowley?
No.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Mason?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of City Council, and congratulations to Councilman Brackett and Councilwoman Harris for your first City Council meeting tonight. I've included in your package, part of my report, a copy of the direction. I have not emailed that out yet, but I'm just going to go through and hit some highlights. Under the street department, I've added all of the local as well as the TDOT projects. I didn't go into great detail, and certainly if you have questions about that, you can give me a call or shoot me an email. But everything that was going on, we did get our street sweeper repaired, which was big. So that is back up and running as well. Under our Parks and Rec, Church League softball started on Monday, and the games were played every Monday night at 7 o'clock, Flour Mill Flats. We've got new lighting that's going to go in our community center. If you've not been in there, or if you have been in there lately, it's like a cave. But we'll be, David Brannon, our maintenance guy, will be reinstalling 19 of those lights with LED lights, and will certainly make it much more easier to see in there and a much safer area. The last day, and it's been very popular for our splash pad, will be Sunday, September 25th, and after that we'll begin getting that ready for the winter temperatures. Our library report. I emailed each of those reports to you all not only Friday but also today. Their book sale, which began on August the 8th and ended at the end of August, was really successful and made $667, and all those funds raised from used books will be turned around and used right back in the library in support of the programs, the many programs that they offer. We're also lucky we have the Roane County Breastfeeding Group that now meets at the library. That's going to be the fourth Wednesday of every month. They had their first class, which was on August the 24th, and this program is open for all moms who are breastfeeding. Also, the children's programs began today. And on that third page, you can see Connie does a great job with that. The schedule they have Monday through Thursday. If you ever have time in your schedule just to drop by, you can see what they have going in place. It is a fantastic environment when you go down there and see what they're doing with the children's program. Wanted to touch base very quickly on our events. This coming Tuesday, a week from tonight, this was the mayor's idea. We're going to have a back-to-school bash for Harriman High School and Harriman Middle School, and that will be at Downtown Pizza and Arcade from 6 to 8 o'clock. We're going to have music, food, drinks for the kids. That'll be after practice, so should be a good time. And just to let the kids at those schools for right now, I know how much the city of Harriman supports them. So if you get a chance, come out that, and I'll send you a reminder as text. I did not include in this report. We did have a change, like Mr. Knobloch said. It was the 34th annual Hooray for Harriman. It had only been canceled one time in its 34 years, and I certainly didn't want to have to go down to somebody who canceled it. So we'd already made preparations on Friday and over the weekend to go forward, hoping the weather forecast wouldn't hold out and we could still have our vendors and our downtown businesses open. When it started yesterday morning, we got started about 6:30. Of course, the skies opened up, and in talking with the mayor during the weekend and with Martha, we had some ideas. How could we change it? So what we decided to do is go ahead with our beauty pageant that took place up in Gates Hall, and it was outstanding. Martha was there, did a really good job. The young ladies were fantastic. That went off that hitch, and everybody stayed dry. Our food trucks, we moved over here to Walden Street and told them to hang out. I think they did fairly well. I spoke with each of them. They were very happy. They left after we finished upstairs, which is about 12:30 or 1. They said they would all be back. We contacted the bands we had scheduled. We will use them at a later date, and any vendors, even if they showed up, we'll get a rain check. They can come back on October the 22nd. We're going to have the Jeep Invasion, the 5K, 10K run, and the Cobbler Fest at Riverfront Park. So they'll be welcome there, or certainly be welcome next year at the 35th Annual Hooray for Harriman. I did, and probably it's partly my fault. I told Martha, I said, go ahead and push it out, that Hooray for Harriman. And I meant the bands and all the changes, so she pushed that out, and she was at the same time trying to get ready for the beauty contest. And then she told me, and oh yeah, there's Mr. Knobloch right there. She said, I messed up. I forgot to put on there the downtown businesses. So she did repost that after about 20 or 30 minutes. But I said, I totally forgot about that and shouldn't have. I know in that building up there, it had a good turnout, really good. It was full downstairs in Mr. Knobloch. So I hope, and we will continue with our Friday nights on Roane, our Rockin' on Roane. I know they're combined, but to go forward and really support our local downtown merchants, because they're a very important part of what we do here in Harriman. The other dates are listed right there. We'll be having a meeting if you want to participate in Fright Night. That will be a big event for those 2 nights. Also on October the 8th, we'll have the Mayor's Masquerade Ball. Those tickets are able to be purchased now. And what we did, we moved the Cobbler Fest to October the 22nd. That's where we opened up to our merchants that either decided not to show up or did show up and were rained out. So that will be a huge event at Riverfront Park on October the 22nd. Our grant update, Keita, David, and Jess have been working hard on a historical preservation grant, a $300,000 grant, matching $150,000. We'll be able to use our Arpa funds to secure that grant, but we will find out in October, and that's for the Temperance Building. We should have the Historical District Resurvey grant. That's to be completed in September by the end of this month. Keita's been in touch with Judith Johnson, who is about to wrap that grant up. And Natasha West, who's with our Parks and Rec, I sent y'all a text or an email last week. We have applied for a Blue Cross Blue Shield grant for a fitness and fun playground that would go at the community center next to the splash pad, and that's a 100% funded grant. We should know in December if we're awarded that, but that would be a huge addition for our whole town, but especially down at our community center and at our splash pad in the summers. And then finally, I'll just touch on these really quick. We have a specially called Industrial Development Board meeting. That will be this coming Monday night, and that's for the sale of the property on Woody Avenue. In your packets, I emailed, but I also provided a hard package for each of you all. These are for our city attorney. We had 3 applicants. Not only that, we have Tom McFarland, our previous city attorney, his letter of resignation. I would like to possibly just get some feedback from council, maybe one evening next week. We could set aside about an hour and a half to interview those 3 candidates if you all so choose. I wanted your feedback on that, but I would like to get somebody in place as soon as possible. I thought if we could start one evening, maybe at 5, and try and be finished by 6:30. If there's any particular day next week that would work, I'll be open to suggestions and can certainly give you a call later in the week. But I'd like to reach out to those 3 applicants and at least give them some time to prepare. Wednesday evenings, I know that's church night. I don't know if that's bad. We've got the back to school bash on Tuesday night. We know Friday night football and band and cheerleaders. So either Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday might be, is that okay?
I'm good with Wednesday.
Can you be here at 4 on Wednesday?
I'm here at 4:30.
4:30?
4:30. Sure.
I'll go over the application. Do it Wednesday at 4:30.
Okay, I'll call these applicants tomorrow and set that up. So it'll be a week from tomorrow at 4:30. Okay. Working through our waste connections. I'm still trying to wrap up some loose ends, and people have 2 garbage cans, 1 garbage can, not enough garbage cans. Dealing with that. Our front office has done really well. Keita has been working on our fuel card, fuel man savings. If you recall, I told you we were going to start with our police department, and she will have a full report at our council meeting at the 2nd meeting this month. But it looks like we're getting a very good rate for our police cars. And if you recall, back in the spring, we were averaging between $5,000 and $6,000 a month. How that was going to fit in the budget. So we looked at alternate savings, alternate methods. We knew HUB was looking at moving their location. They would no longer be in the fuel business, so we tried to get ahead of that. And I think we're going to be really pleased when we see the savings we have in our police budget for fuel. I also shared this document right here, and just want to tell you a little bit about this. This is a packet I've labeled. It's called Upcoming Council Workshop and Daily Agendas, and all this is a note, 5-page document. You can view that. It changes 3 or 4 times a day as I meet with the department heads, or if they need to ask me something, we just jot different items down there. So if there's something you see on there and it just raises a question, or you don't know what that means, certainly give me a call or shoot me a text or an email, and I'll be glad to explain. Or you can even call the department head. They know as well what that is. But just another way to keep y'all in the loop of what we have going on. Just a reminder, tomorrow evening at the Kingston City Park, they're having an elected officials picnic, and all of you all are invited. That'll be from 5 to 7, and it's put on, sponsored by the Rhone Alliance. That'll be at Kingston City Park. I also sent another email. If you're interested in the MTAS Elected Officials Academy, we have to have you registered by October the 6th. There's some information in the direction. You can either register online or by calling the individual's name and number that I have. If you are interested, please let me know and I'll assist you with that. Those classes all take place in October. And finally, had a good meeting with Candace and HUB, part of our monthly meeting. We go into that meeting and we set that up for about an hour and a half. We try to meet once a month with no agenda, just talk about issues and just keep good connections, keep good communication between the city of Harriman and HUB. And so we had a really good meeting, I think, last Friday. And that's it for my report, unless you have any questions.
Anybody have anything for Mr. Mason?
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Mason, for the information. It's very helpful. First time, and you wrote it out, or you set the agenda out so we can sort of follow what has been going on in the city. So.
Well, I know, especially for the new council members, I bombarded you with a lot of information.
That's okay. That's okay. I'd rather have some information than no information. So.
I agree, yeah.
And to Mr. Buckles, I will say, we had the Bird Street project. I know I encourage y'all to go down there and check those sidewalks out. We put that out for bid. It's been out for over a month and had no takers. I've made some cold calls. We've had an individual look at that. It's possible using our Arfa funds, like the mayor suggested, to have a city sidewalk replacement schedule like we do the paving of our streets. And also, I got this one individual. I said, I'd like to go around and look at some areas that maybe 2 squares need to be replaced. But I think, just echo what the mayor said, generally what we've done, if somebody needs their sidewalk repaired, our street crew will form it up and do all the work, as long as that homeowner will pay for it. That's something that needs to be done before it's on our schedule. But I'd be glad to get with you and go look at those sidewalks on Clifton.
Thanks, sir. We're going to new business. First time discussing possibly select a mayor pro tem, which is your recommendations for a vice mayor. Councilman Johnson has been the vice mayor for the last 2 years. After every election, you guys select a new vice mayor. Used to, it was who the top vote getter was in that election, but it was changed when they changed the charter back 10 years ago or so. So now it is kind of picked by you all as to who you want to be vice mayor. Recommendations.
I make a motion to keep Mr. Johnson as vice mayor.
You make a recommendation.
Recommendation.
Okay. Any other recommendations?
No, not one that one. It's just anybody want to recommend, and then it goes to.
That would be my, I guess, say that would be my recommendation, since he's already,
Councilman Johnson?
yeah, been there before and kind of, sort of knows what's, working behind our mayor, kind of,
He walks way behind you. Just a lot. I'm just kidding.
he said it.
Anyone else? Motion to put Councilman Johnson back in as the vice mayor.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Frost, second.
I second.
Second by Councilman Brackett. Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Councilman Brackett. Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett,
Yes.
Brian Frost,
Yes.
Alicia Harris,
Yes.
Tim Johnson,
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve ARPA funds for Phase 1 drywall asbestos removal in the Temperance Building. I think that they had taken bids on this. This is something we've been working on for a while. You have a copy of it in your packet. Total price is $106,810. Do you want to talk on it? Have you been here a year yet?
Yes.
I just wanted you walking like you, we brought you down on the
It's hard to be excited. Council, the Temperance Committee has been really active over the past year, and the first phase of the security foundation, which we did with money that was set aside in last year's budget. As we worked through, it's my hopes as soon as that foundation was secure, that we would be able to go with asbestos removal and the removal of over 5.5 or 6 tons of drywall. I thought any construction company could do that. I really did not think it'd be a big issue. I thought we would have the public and the museum in there by the start of the summer. And when you go through there, I've included some notes from the previous or the prior temperance building committees that we've had. We started reaching out in December of last year for companies to come in and do that, and there's 8 down through there on the second or third page you can look at. They would come and look at it. They would not touch it because of the historical structure, because of the asbestos that was in there, just the total cost it would be in the removal. So we did have Elu Green, who's been out here several times and looked at that. They are known for this type of removal and remediation, especially in historical buildings, and would do a good job. The major thing with the other companies, they could not guarantee that the interior stairwell would be protected as they removed this drywall, but the study that was done back in 2017 by the architectural firm said this would have to be the next step. So we didn't bring it before council. We thought we could put this bid or this next payment in this year's budget, but then we found out about late spring that our ARP funds could be used for any government-owned building. So I thought that might be a better use of money that we have. So it's the recommendation from our Temperance Committee that you allow us to go forward this Elu Green. Being federal dollars, there's still several hoops we need to jump through, but they have the SAMS number that Candace mentioned. They have everything in place to make that happen. It'd be about a 4-week process, but once they do that, Master Services, who did our foundation, would come in and then be able to adjust that foundation, the jacks, one more time. Jess and his crew and Dave would then be able to go in and start doing the any type of damage that was in plaster, and the building would be able to go ahead and start moving our museum in. So hopefully, if you all approve this, this is done and we can start that this fall.
Let me ask you a question on it. This is just tearing it out. This is not putting anything back. So when they tear that down, that third floor, all that will not have any kind of banister, nothing. It'll just be open. So that's what we're going to go back in and
There's 2 layers of 3/4 inch drywall in the tower, and they would remove that. Originally, that was an open area. It wasn't covered. Wasn't ever intended to pull in. So they said they would leave that scaffolding up if we knew before then if there was something we need to replace, and we can certainly look at that. But yes, it's removing that, the drywall, second floor, asbestos, and then if you've not been on the 3rd floor lately, all the wood, he said it will look like a brand new building when they finish. And then they remove all that, and the asbestos materials, take it to a certified dump site.
motion. Oh, you go ahead.
If that's the abatement too, to
Yes, sir.
total abatement and to
Yes, sir.
get rid of the asbestos and everything too.
Yes, sir.
But as Mayor, so saying that doesn't cover putting anything back, right?
No, sir. No. It's like when they moved the foundation, there's very little physical damage on the outside drywall, so we were really lucky. This company too guarantees they're licensed and bonded, so we would think there would be very little damage that would come from that.
Yeah.
And then hopefully our grant, if we get that, we'll find in October, that'll help with the 2nd floor replacement of the windows.
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion. It's been a long time coming.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Frost. Councilman Johnson.
We really need to get started on that. We were going to do it several years ago, but it just never came through. So, yeah, I'm glad to see we're finally getting stuff moving in that direction. That's all I've got.
Councilman Frost.
I'm excited to see it back up and running.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett,
Yes.
Brian Frost,
Yes.
Alicia Harris,
Yes.
Tim Johnson,
Yes.
Kenyon Me.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve Jeremy Gibson to serve on the Walden Ridge Overlay District Committee. I make a motion. Motion by Councilman Meade, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Johnson. Councilman Meade.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett,
Yes.
Brian Frost,
Yes.
Alicia Harris,
Yes.
Tim Johnson,
Yes.
Kenyon Me.
Yes.
Motion carries, and Jeremy lives over in the West Hills District, so that you all know where he's at. Next item, discuss and possibly approve Tracy Udi to serve on the library board. This is a recommendation from the library.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Frost.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Harris. I gotta get
Tripping you up, I
Yes. Councilman Frost, you have anything?
No, sir.
Councilwoman Harris.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett,
Yes.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve Travis Kirkland to serve on the fire committee, which is TJ.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Councilman Johnson, second by Councilwoman Harris. Councilman Johnson.
He'll do good in that position with him being a firefighter and that way, from all the experience he's had so far. That's all I've got.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett,
Yes.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve John Brackett to serve on the Park and Rec Committee.
Make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Meade,
I'll second.
second by Councilman Johnson. Councilman Meade? Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Johnny Brackett,
Yes.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Motion carries. Last item, discuss and possibly approve Alicia Harris to serve on the Police Committee.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Frost, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Meade. Councilman Frost?
No, sir.
Councilman Meade. Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll.
Johnny Brackett,
Yes.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Motion carries. And that takes care of our council representatives on our main committees here. We've got other committees we'll be doing over the next couple of meetings. You council members that was on your committees, you're still on your same committees unless you ask to come off of them. You're still serving your term. So I don't want you all think you're left out because your names ain't on it, but you're still on your committees. That's all that we have on the agenda before we get into council remarks. Anything else need to come before this council before we do that? Okay. We'll go into councilman remarks. Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Harris.
No, sir.
Councilman Brackett.
No, sir, not this time.
Councilman Meade.
No, sir.
All right. The only thing I've got is welcome to the council. As I told you before, there's a lot of work, and it'll take time for us all to adjust. It'll take a lot of time for me to adjust to the name changing around, but it's exciting. It's exciting where Harriman's heading. Meeting with Scott today, there's a lot on the horizon, and if you look at the direction, you'll see. So we got a lot of work to do, and got a great team to do it with, so I'm very excited with what's going on. That's all I have. A motion to adjourn.
Motion. I second.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed, like sign?